2 days, right? It's fresh in our minds. So
Yeah, yeah. Did you get a chance to watch the card last night? Because I didn't.
yeah, I did. It was pretty crazy. Have
Yeah,
you?
so I didn't watch the fights, but I kind of got a recap of what like who won what, the ones that the names that are gonna stand out. Obviously, Cheeto Vera and Buddy there that he knocked out.
Dom
Yeah,
Cruz?
Cruz. Yeah, I don't know. So when I heard about it, I wasn't like, I kind of felt bad because like, I don't know, should a guy should he have fought Cruz? I mean, I don't know. There's a
Uh,
lot of questions. He's fought in a lot of like the veterans and
yeah, everyone's calling him the legend killer right now because he brutally knocked out Frankie Edgar, and now he just brutally knocked out Dom Cruz. But I think it was definitely a fight that had to happen because Dominic Cruz, prior to this fight, had to prove if he was still in title contention, right? And obviously it didn't go his way. Unfortunately, I'm a big Cruz fan. I always enjoyed watching him. He's a legend of the game. No one will ever replicate what he's done because of his incredible movement and footwork, right? So
well, and I wanted to talk about that. So obviously, like I said prior, I didn't watch the whole fight. I just pretty much watched the setup to when he got kicked in the head and got knocked out. Um, Watching that was one of the best tactical, like I could see that kind of knockout coming because the way he moves his head to the side like that,
it was
he'll stick a
genius.
strike and he puts his head off the side, and the way he got knocked out, it was just like, it was probably one of the best landing kicks I've ever seen.
It was absolutely vicious. But to be fair, I mean, Dom Cruz, he was looking pretty good the first couple of rounds. He was moving, but the thing is, like, Cheeto just had so much more power than Cruz that fight, and Cruz got dropped like 3 times. So prior to that knockout, so
Yeah, so who was the last few people that Cheetos fought? He fought, obviously, just beat Dominic Cruz, and then prior was Frankie Edgar, right?
yeah, and I don't know if I forget who was before that, but I know. I mean, everyone's kind of talking about this too. Like Jose Aldo beat Cheeto pretty convincingly not
Yeah.
too long ago. So, I mean,
But
that win aged great right now,
well, the thing is, if you can make an argument that Jose Aldo has looked a lot sharper than Dominic Cruz.
and that's a fight people want too. People want to see Cruz and Aldo. I think honestly, now depending how long Cruz takes to recover, make Frankie versus Cruz. I know Frankie even called him out and said he wants that for his retirement fight. So,
Well, and do you feel like he's making that his retirement fight because he thinks, oh, this is a fight I can win, or like, no disrespect to
uh,
him, I'm not saying he.
I don't know. I think he just said like he just wants to go out with someone like a legend like him. Like I think it'd be a good fight, two former champions. I just don't know. I mean, Cruz just got knocked out really badly, and I don't know how long until we'll see him in the octagon again.
But if you look at like a lot of Cruz's last fights, and I mean, respect that he's fought in all killers. But like, if you look at, I mean, he got knocked out by Henry Cejudo. Like, I mean, now mind you, I think that was one finish that was kind of controversial. Like, maybe he wasn't totally out.
Hmm.
May have been early stoppage. I can't remember exactly because that fight was a couple of years ago now. Um, but I know like he got beat, like he got knocked out by Cejudo, like he just got knocked out by Chito Vera, like you
Well,
know,
he was on a little run. Like you know what
yeah,
he lowered the competition. Like he beat Casey Kenny,
yeah,
and then he beat Pedro Munoz. So he got a 2 fight win streak. And then he tried. This fight was to see if he was still able to possibly be championship material. Unfortunately, that's not the case. I thought he still looked good, but I just don't think he has like the gas tank that he used to, and I don't think he's as fast as he used to be. He's never had power in his hands. He's always just been volume, volume, like for 5 rounds or 25 minutes straight, piecing you up, right? And dancing around you. But
yeah.
now, I mean, I think over the years, people like Cody Garbrandt figured out his style, and I think people have like over the years have figured out how to stop Dom Cruz's style.
And that's a thing about MMA, right? Like, you can have, like, you look at Israel Adesanya, and he has such a complex striking, and that's why again, I know people are gonna make the argument that well, he's boring, he just throws leg kicks, but if people don't realize like how hard it is to defend your belt and against all these top guys, and you can't. And not every fight can you throw an exciting fight. That's just reality. If you look at any champion, most of the champions have had one or two fights that just maybe. The problem is with how Israel Adesanya and a lot of these other exciting fighters. What happens is they rack up all these knockout wins. They look untouchable. They might put on like a performance of the year. Like I mean, like when Izzy fought um
Gastelum.
Gastelum. Yeah, like that was a great fight, even though it showed that he faced a lot of adversity in that fight, but it was a great fight back and forth. Actually, the whole card was amazing.
Mhm.
If I should add that in, but yeah, like I like the problem is, yeah, you have a lot of exciting fights and you have all these knockouts, and the problem is as soon as you have like one kind of boring fight or two boring fights, people are like, oh, Izzy's boring. I don't know. I think like every champion, it doesn't matter who you are. Like I would even say Kamaru Usman. I think he might had like a fight or two that was not the most exciting.
Oh,
I
I
think it might have been
mean,
the one where he,
Usman was everyone thought he was boring until he really won the belt, and then I mean, his first title defense against Jorge Masvidal wasn't anything either. Remember, everyone was making fun of him saying for the foot stomps and all that.
yeah. So was that his first title defense?
Or well, that was the second title defense. The first one was that War versus Colby.
Was it the first one with Colby?
Yeah.
Jeez, because that was a great fight, man.
Oh yeah, that was a.
Both fights were great.
I remember watching that fight and thinking like, okay, two wrestlers, who's gonna shoot first, and then they just both were just striking like crazy.
Well, and honestly, like that's still one of my favorite fights. And after that fight, like I know that the stuff that Colby kind of goes on about, and oh, he's boring.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, he's a why is he talking all this shit? Like people
well,
want to see him get knocked out, but I actually love it. It's great to watch. It's after you get to see that it's all just an act that he puts on. It's so good that what he does for the UFC because it draws the pay per view and I just like the character that he puts on. I think it's hilarious. It's
yeah,
kind of remember we were talking last week about who's that guy in Bellator? The guy with wears the shade.
Danny Sabatello.
Yeah, Sabatella. Kind of the same thing, right? Like you kind of have to have a guy like that either a lot of people are gonna want to see him lose, or actually a lot of people want to see him win.
Yeah,
You put on that like I'm coming for everybody kind of persona. I like it. I think it's awesome.
yeah, and going back to UFC San Diego, did you see Nate the Train versus David Onama? Did you at least hear about that fight? Like, dude,
No,
that was
but
you should have rewatched that shit, man. That was uh arguably a fight of the year contender. Like those two were just going at it. It was insane.
yeah, Nate. Yeah, he's a guy I've watched quite a few times now, and he's a tough
What
guy.
he's a character too.
He is. Yeah, he's got the character and charisma, and he's quite the fighter. He's tough.
He's good.
I
And
think he's
then
had another pretty tough fight prior as well.
I think first time I heard of him was when he beat Darren Elkins, and he just his post might or fight interview was just hilarious. It's like I'm Nate the Triangle, like just freaking out,
Yeah.
and that's how he got my attention. And then I realized, he's actually a decent fighter. But I mean, he just beat David Onama, someone who's got back-to-back finishes. He's a part of James Krause's camp at Glory. Had some hype to him, and I think Onama was a favorite, and he dropped Nate pretty bad. It looked like he was in the first round, but dude, he gassed out so badly after the first round. I have no idea how that guy made it to the end of the fight because he was literally just looked like on the break of collapsing.
Yeah, and I mean that's just even though yeah he gasses out, that just goes to shit. That's all heart. When you're
110%.
tired like that, that's all heart.
Yeah. And I mean, rightfully so, they got the 50K bonus fight of the night. So I mean, uh,
Yeah, because I saw something about that. I was looking the event up and wanted to see who else won, lost, the results, and yeah, I saw that they both got the 50 G's. So
mhm,
good for them. I mean, even win or lose, you get the extra 50 G's. That goes a long way.
100%. I don't know how much what those guys' contracts are like, but I doubt it's anything too crazy.
Well, and it's great. Like, I don't want to talk smack against Dana White, but like, if you look at like some of the videos that he's posted, like, I think he gave, you know who the Milk Boys are, right?
Yeah, he gave Kyle 250K for his birthday. That was a big shit show on MMA Twitter. A lot of guys weren't happy about that.
But at the same time, I think he's given he's giving them his actual personal money, which for him, giving $250,000 away for for a president probably isn't the biggest deal in the world. Which it is his personal money. If that's what he chooses to do, he's his own man, whatever. But it doesn't look good when you're
You
running a company
and you're getting bitched
and
at about fighter pay for the past like year or two now.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was something. But I mean, like you said, that's out of his own pocket. His decision. Who cares? That's his friend. Like, you know what? Um,
But is it though? Is he really his friend?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're friends. I mean, dude, the Nelk Boys like promote or have brought an entire new audience to the MMA.
Oh yeah, 100%. No, I think I'm not sure if they came a little bit after the McGregor era. I think
It
he was a
was,
little bit
yeah, yeah.
after. I
I
think it was
think
when McGregor was more mainstreamed versus his rise to the top.
no,
Like
they were
once,
Nelk Boys started hanging out with Dana. I think it was a couple of years around Khabib versus Gaethje. Around that time,
maybe,
that's when they started, and then the UFC and their brand Full Send did a collab, and then they just became really good friends with Dana. And I mean, like they have a huge audience, and I guess like I guess their audience is probably like like 12 to like 16, 17-year-old males and stuff, right? Like they have a young audience, so all those guys are seeing them at the UFC events, and now their audience wants to watch the UFC, right? So
yeah, and I feel like even with the UFC, because as far back as I can go when I started watching UFC or just anything with combat sports, uh, I can remember it was more geared towards people that all those gritty people that just want to see people fight, and it was more geared towards like obviously a younger crowd, but I don't think the reach that the UFC has made to a lot of people now. Like there's a lot of people that I know who aren't even a big fan of like of just fighting. Like that wouldn't be their first thing that they watch. Like they'd be like watching maybe like football or basketball, whatever. Like that would be their sport. But like
mhm.
when there's a huge card and it's a big names that everybody knows, it's like everyone says, okay, pause. We're gonna go watch the UFC event tonight.
That
And
happens all the
what the
time.
UFC has done.
I mean, I'll see people posting that I have no idea that were into the sport, and usually I think either obviously it's when Connor's fighting, and then I've been seeing a lot of people like the casuals
Yeah.
um for Israel Adesanya. Like he's you know what people are talking shit about him being born, but man, he's brought in a lot of new fans too because I see a lot of people posting when it's his fight week, like cheering for Izzy that I had no idea watched MMA.
Well, and the thing is too, if you look at Izzy, he really does bring in that young crowd because he kind of he I feel like he kind of keeps the sport young, if that makes any sense. Like he tries to keep the trending memes and trending like things out there to kind of keep that young crowd, I guess, focus, if that makes any sense. Like keeps the young people like, oh yeah, I get what he's trying to say. Like like when he's making jokes and whatnot, like he tries to keep it. I mean, the guy's like what 30 years old, so
Yeah.
he's trying to keep the whole. I don't know. Maybe I'm just don't know what I'm saying here, but like yeah, he's just trying to keep like everything. I don't know, geared towards the young folks, and that's why he's brought so many in, as you said.
Yeah. Did you see today that the Red King, Rory McDonald, retired?
Yeah, so I did hear
Did you see
some
that?
rumblings about that. Like he put his gloves in the cage or on the canvas in a
Well,
PFL.
first off, he got absolutely sparked against some. I don't even know the name. I don't want to disrespect him or anything. I never heard of him going into this fight. From what I heard, he was an alternate going into the I guess the PFL semifinals welterweight.
Mhm.
And to be fair, he hit Roy with a clean shot, right hand, dropped him, and I mean, I love Roy McDonald. I love Canadian MMA fighters. I'll always root for them. But just seems like first off, Roy has never been the same since that war with Robbie.
No, he hasn't.
And then even after the John Fitch fight, he had that weird interview where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt anybody anymore." I just don't think his head has been in it for the last little bit. Had a terrible stint in PFL. Let's be real. And I think it's a good time. I thought you see too many fighters that you know try to carry on. But I think Rory obviously definitely has made some good money throughout the years, and he knew his heart's not in it, his head's not in it, and he's I mean, it was a good time to retire, and what a career. He's still young too. He can, who knows what he can do with the rest of his life right now. Like I think he's
Well,
a,
and then that's it. And I remember someone talking about how it might have been GSP, but somebody mentioned how most guys don't know when to retire. It's not they don't retire from the sport; the sport retires them.
yeah,
And unfortunately, that's what happens because a lot of guys, I mean, even if they, I think there's some cases where there's guys that think, oh, I think I might still got it. Maybe I just need to take the year off. Let's see, I'm fully rested, et cetera, et cetera. Or you do have a lot of guys that they need that money, right? Like whether they just haven't been the most responsible with their funds. It's or like it's just the problem is a lot of guys they get knocked out 3 or 4 times. Like you look at Don Cerrone. I love the Cowboy. But like he should have retired a couple fights ago. And maybe I'm no fighter. I'm not the one fighting here, but I can tell you just from the fights, it looked like he just needed to give him up, and he finally did. Um,
under or
I
shit.
might be
Sorry.
getting a lot of shit for saying that, but just as a spectator watching his fights, I just felt like it was time for him to retire, and I just feel like, and he said it himself. I mean, he's like, I just don't like doing it anymore. It's
Yeah, I mean, he lost his passion. I mean, he's a legend too. And there was a couple other retired people that retired this past week, like Uriah Hall retired earlier in the week, and then
yeah.
Nina Ansaroff retired last night. So yeah,
Nina
it's
Nina Nunes, she finally retired.
or Nina Nunes, yeah, she retired. I guess
Oh
she
my
wants to
gosh!
she wants to focus more on being a mom. And I mean,
But
you
then
know what?
that's got to mean that Amanda Nunes, like maybe she like her like obviously the double champ there. It looks like maybe she's not going to retire. So what a lot of people thought was going to happen was, well, if she lost the fight again, she's probably going to retire, or if she even if she wins, she might still retire and walk away on
Mhm.
top. But maybe now that the wife is kind of retiring there, maybe that signals that Manda's not done. And I don't think Manda is. I just don't feel
I
like
don't think
why
so
would she walk
either.
away now?
I just think put yourself in Nina Nunez's shoes. Like, you know what, you were. I think she was ranked at one point. Like, never championship material. They just have a young daughter, Reagan, who's it's cute as hell. Like on her on the embedded and all that stuff. And apparently, she said after she's like, I want to have another kid. So I mean, she's obviously prioritizing being a mother and starting to or adding to her family and decent career. And let's be fair, she just beat Cynthia Calvillo. And remember when she was like the most hyped woman, like
Oh my
what,
god.
like 4 years ago?
That's
Like,
I saw
and
it when I told you that I was looking up the results. I was looking some of them up last night. I came home from my cousin's wedding, and so I'm just kind of like playing my phone before I go to bed, and I totally forgot about the UFC card. It's like shit. Like I feel like I wish I was hoping I could watch it, but I was like, you know what, it's my cousin's wedding. It happens once in your life.
yeah, you
Um,
gotta
gotta
enjoy those
go. You
moments.
gotta go. And anyway, so I saw, and yeah, so Cynthia Calvillo, she got beat again, and then going back when you just mentioned, like I remember when she beat like two girls in a row and she looked good and she was like swearing on the camera and she seemed like maybe she was the next prospect there for the women's strawweight. I think she fought at flyweight last night, but
Yeah, she moved
but
up, but
yeah, like when she was in Strawway, I was like, maybe she's the next thing for Strawway. Like, look out. Like, because at the time when she was had that hype, I think,
I think that was like 2017,
yeah,
maybe.
it might have been 2017. This might just been around when Rose became champ. It might have been. So I was like thinking, like, damn, the champ might have a good contender here. And then, yeah, she just ran into bad luck. And you gotta think, like, what goes through a fighter's mind when that does happen? Like, why is it there's certain fighters that they have all this and then they just seem to fall apart and they can't find their footing?
Pressure. Not everyone can handle the pressure, and
Yeah.
it's a tough sport. It really is. So,
I mean, like I find, and also
well,
too, like I think there is an idea that certain fighters just I don't want to say the word lucky. It sounds bad, but some fighters get really good matchups and they get their way to the top. The top, and then that's when they fight somebody that has that style to beat them. Because everybody, that's I feel like that's the whole idea about MMA is that everyone's got a style to beat you. There's always gonna be someone, even if you hypothetically speaking, when you're prime for 20 years, there's gonna be that one person that in that 20 years that there's gonna have they don't even have to be the best in the world. They just have to have the perfect style to beat you.
Hmm. And you're talking about or drawing a
Can't
blank,
tell you.
but pressure. Yeah, you're talking about pressure earlier. Another one, that person that retired earlier, like I mentioned, was Uriah Hall. Dude, that guy out of the Ultimate Fighter, everyone wanted him to fight what's his face Anderson Silva right away, and he didn't even win the Ultimate Fighter. He lost to Gastelum in the final,
Yeah.
whatever year that was. But and everyone always looked at him thinking like he was like such a top prospect. He didn't really. I mean, he had some signature wins. He got a nice win over Gegard Mousasi, but he never lived up to it either, right? And everyone thought he could was going to be the next big thing.
Well, and that's what can happen when you have a flashy knockout in the Ultimate Fighter, and then everyone expects this to for you to follow up. And as we previously just said, it's a tough sport, and it's hard
Yeah,
to live up to your highlights, and it's hard to maintain a great. There's very few fighters that have been able. Like I mean, we just mentioned him, Kamaru Usman. He's been able to just keep go. Like he just seems he's on that right path. But yeah, like I said, everybody's got that has that style of beat you, and yeah, and you're mentioning about Uriah Hall, like I can't believe the guy retired. Like I was kind
yeah,
of shocked when I heard that. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe some people wouldn't have been shocked, but I was.
yeah. I was a little shocked. I thought he definitely had a bit more in the tank. Like I don't know how old he is. I don't think he's pushing 40. I think maybe mid 30s max. But I
Yeah.
mean, you always know when in a Uriah Hall fight, he has a flash of brilliance, possibly, right? So, and he has knockout power. But I mean, I wish him all the best in retirement. But it would have been. I just didn't know. I didn't know him. Like you said, it's a mental thing. Maybe he just that recent loss just affected him and he didn't want to do it anymore. And you can't go in that cage in the octagon if you don't want to be fighting anymore, right?
Yeah, but in positive news, we're talking all about people retiring, losing here. I mean, so I did a little bit of the work. Obviously, you saw we did some of that work for the Bellator that
Yeah, I
night.
did see that.
So I watched probably 60% of the fights. Local boy, the guy, he's from Tilsonburg,
Yeah, is it Austin or Aaron Jeffries?
Aaron Jeffrey.
Aaron Jeff, dude,
Jeffrey, not
dude,
someone.
Jeffrey.
I saw somebody put on a thing that he won. They said Jeffries. I'm like, I'm all
Okay.
confused myself. Is it Jeffries? But anyway,
My apologies for butchering your name.
but yeah, Aaron Jeffrey, like he, yeah, guy from I'm pretty sure it's Tilsonburg.
It is
Yeah.
Tilsonburg, dude.
Okay.
That what a story, man. 8 days
I
notice
know.
takes on the number two guy on middleweight,
Austin Vanderford.
Mr. Van Zant or Austin
Van Zandt,
Vandervoort.
yeah.
That guy's coming off a title shot, and Austin just sparks him first
Yeah,
round.
I wasn't expecting that. And again, this is not disrespect to him. I just didn't think like it was gonna happen that fast because I'm thinking, okay, like I mean, I think Aaron can beat him, but I mean like just to knock him out like he did, I was like, whoa, holy shit. Or anybody for that matter.
Yeah,
I just wasn't expecting I was expecting a first good round and then see what happens. But yeah, no, fucking Aaron
that
just
was incredible. What a statement. I mean, what's next for him now? You just beat the number two guy coming off a title shot. I think he said something like, "Give me a couple more scrubs, and then we'll start talking some big fights." Like
well,
that was his second fight in Bellator, right?
yeah, well, he did. I did ask him about that. I said, like, would you prefer if just to get a tell shot right away? Because I mean, you just beat the number 2 ranked. Who knows where they could put you in the rankings? I would imagine they would put him right at 2 or 3, where they could fit him in. But I mean, like, yeah, they could easily give him a title shot. That can happen. Like, that's just the craziness of freaking MMA. That's how MMA math works.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, I know we say all the time like MMA math doesn't make sense, but it's crazy like how like you could beat number 2 ranked and bam, and just like that you could get a title shot. And the likelihood of him probably getting it, I would say it's more towards no, but I mean you never know what happens. But so when I asked him, I was like, would you prefer to get a teleshot right away if you give him the opportunity? I mean, you took a big opportunity here, a big risk here. And or would you
It
rather
paid
like have a
off.
couple fights to kind of get yourself you know in the promotion? And he's like, well, I mean, if it's an opportunity, sure, I'm gonna take it. Why wouldn't I? But we'll see what happens. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I think it's great. I think it's great to see another Canadian prospect doing so well and maybe taking over the face. Maybe Rory can hand that torch to him. He could be the next Canadian contender to possibly become champion in Bellator. So I
Yeah.
guess see what happens with
No,
it.
that
Like,
was
what a story for
exciting.
this guy.
That was incredible.
Mhm.
I'm so happy for that guy. I saw that clip. I wasn't watching the fights live, but I saw that clip, and all the Canadian fighters I follow were posting that clip. So he's a lot of support from Canadians.
Yeah.
Just outstanding. 8 days notice. Sparks #2 guy coming off a title shot, and I mean you can't write that. Like I thought Austin Vanderford was going to put on a wrestling clinic. I'm not gonna lie, but to
Well, a lot of
see
people did, right?
that was amazing. And I know our other fellow Canadian, Josh Hill, actually came up short in his fight. But did you see that elbow he landed?
Oh fuck yeah, yeah, I know. I saw that
Holy
actually.
shit, dude. That was freaking. I mean, he lost the fight pretty convincingly. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always gonna support Josh Hill. He's a great guy. But that was some creative stuff. Like he just I don't I don't I mean, I'm surprised that the guy that prospect, I forget his name right now. But how he stood up from that.
Yeah. And that's it. Like it's all about just being tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough sport. You got to be tough. You got to be able. Anybody can knock anybody out, but you got to be able to take a hit.
Hmm. Without a doubt. And especially, I mean, when have you ever seen that elbow thrown ever? I've
I
never
know,
seen
like
that before.
that's definitely a veteran move right there.
Yeah, dude, that was
Skill, pure
complete
skill.
that move. That was, I mean, shout out Josh Hill. That was sick. But best of luck in your next bout. But I mean, it's part of the game. He had I read his post and he's seems like he's in good spirits. But on to the next one, right? So, but another speaking of Canadians, I remember telling you about Charles Jourdain last week.
Yeah,
He's one of my boys. He got a fight announced against Nathaniel Wood, who's coming off a nice win at UFC London a couple weeks
you're
ago.
not the first one that's praising this fight. I'm praising as well, and I think another fighter did too. I can't remember who it was, but they made a post and they said, "Oh, this is gonna be fireworks." I'm like, "Fuck yeah, it is."
Dude, every Jordan fight is fucking
Every Jordan
fireworks.
fight's
I don't
great.
give a shit what anyone says. Like Jordan brings it.
Yeah,
Nathaniel Wood what looked incredible his last fight too. It's in Paris. I know Jordan wanted to be in Paris because obviously he's French, or Canadian, French Canadian. So
you're still gonna get the love no matter what. You
he will
sneak
get
past
a lot
over
of
there,
love
you're gonna get the
because
love.
he's an all around fan favorite too. I feel like he's a little bigger than Nathaniel Wood because Nathaniel Wood was a
You mean
bantamweight going
like
up
fan
to
reach or like what do you mean?
just overall, like as like I think he's gonna look a bit bigger than Nathaniel in the octagon.
Yeah, no, I haven't really saw their stats upon that, but yeah, no.
But that fight's
A
coming up
great
too.
fight.
Those guys just fought not too long ago, and September 3rd, like that's less than a month away, like three weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, that is gonna be a scrap. But I want to go back to Bellator too. You see Pat Downey's MMA debut? Did you
I
watch that
didn't.
fight?
I didn't.
He is so you know how Bellator gets chirped all the time for just being shitty at promoting their events?
Yeah.
Dude, Pat Downey is just like the biggest character, like a Mike Perry like character. This guy was like an incredible wrestler, almost Olympian bound. Like this guy is so funny. My friend Nate, who I've shouted out in the last podcast, told me about this guy months ago. He's like, keep an eye out on him. This guy's gonna be a big thing. And he goes in, or he had a sick mullet too, just like Jeffrey or Austin Jeffrey, whatever. Oh my god, I'm all over the
Aaron
place.
Jeffrey, come
Aaron
on.
Jeffrey. Oh my
Aaron
god.
Jeffrey.
We're never interviewing this guy anymore.
So like just sitting there, he's like, okay, he's like, come on, get
Fuck.
my name right.
Sorry. Once again, I gotta apologize to the same guy twice. He's probably not even gonna listen to this. But anyways, Pat Downey had a wicked mullet,
You just send this to Aaron. I'm
just
just
like
send it to him and be like, yeah, the guy kept fucking your name up.
yeah, do
Here,
it.
at this point of the video, watch it. It's good.
And I mean, Pat Downey had an incredible mullet as well, and he sunk in an arm triangle. He looked fantastic. I think he's a 185 or two. I didn't know he was that big, but I mean, who knows? Maybe Aaron Jeffrey and Pat Downey will fight one day.
Yeah, we'll see. You know what though? Like I gotta say, like I don't. Maybe I'm just blind here, but I haven't seen a whole lot of Canadian fighters in the UFC. Besides, obviously, I know Jasmine, Jasvidius.
Mean Hakeem, Jordan, Kyle Nelson, Tanner
There's a
Bozer.
few, but it seems it's so dominate. Like it's very U.S. dominated. I just remember at one point I felt like there was a lot more Canadian stars in the UFC.
Yeah, no one's really made a splash.
But also, it doesn't help that the UFC hasn't come to Canada for such a long time too.
Yeah, and shit. I'm hoping. I think it's a big thing, like vaccines or something. You in Canada, you have to be fully vaccinated to
Yeah,
be, and I think there's a lot of athletes that aren't fully vaccinated. That's
and that's the
I'm pretty sure that's the
part of it,
case.
man. Like that's the problem is that until things like the rules change with Canada, the borders and whatnot, I don't think you're gonna be seeing like UFC, Bellator promotions like that coming to Canada. I
Not
think maybe
anytime soon.
PFL might because they have a little
I
bit more control over their fighters.
Yeah, just I mean, you can't force your well, I guess the NBA and NFL kind of did, but like Dana White doesn't give a shit if they're vaccinated or not, right? So and obviously that's the restriction for Canada. You got to be fully vaccinated to participate in sport here. So
Mhm.
it's unfortunate because I feel like the next UFC in Toronto would be absolutely electric. Like I think it would sell out in minutes.
Yeah, I mean we haven't had a UFC here for like how many freaking
Since Holloway versus Ortega, and
and
my one of my
that was a
one
great
of
event
that was
too.
that was a great scrap, great event, great card. I One of my biggest regrets was not going to that. I wish I did. I
Well,
didn't
it would have
know.
been nothing for you to go.
Well, I didn't live in Toronto at the time.
Oh,
I
right.
was living in Barrie at the time, but
Yeah,
I wanted to go, but I didn't know a pandemic was gonna hit. Obviously, right? But
exactly. We never know what's gonna play out.
unfortunately, but yeah, no, Toronto shows up every time. Even not, I'm not even just Toronto. Like there's sick events. I think Edmonton had Frankie Edgar versus Max Holloway not too long ago. There was that card in Vancouver, Justin Gaethje versus Cowboy. Like, there's been some big events, and obviously when GSP was on top, like he's had incredible events in Montreal and Toronto too.
Yeah,
And what
and
wasn't
that's what I'm saying, man. Like I feel like once UFC throws on a good Canadian card, fill that whole card up with all the Canadian fighters. Just say fuck book it. Just
yeah,
book every single fight as Canadian fighter. I know that's not ideal because you got to have some ranked fights as well. That's just how it goes. But I mean, I'm not sure which Canadian fighters are ranked. But anyway, I mean, at least fill up half that card with all Canadian fighters. I
yeah,
think
no,
it would
get
be
at least
that place would go bananas.
five or six Canadians on there. They could easily do that. I mean, it would be the atmosphere would be none other. Like it's just insane. The passion, like Toronto, I'm keep going back
Toronto
to
in
Toronto.
general is just
Yeah, Toronto in general just has
appreciated.
very passionate fans, and they are known to have exceptional, like, crowd reactions and stuff like that. So, I would love to be a part of that one day. Hopefully, attend an event.
Yeah, but until then, it sucks. I mean, the closest thing I think we're gonna get, at least for me, because where I'm located, the closest thing that I'm gonna be able to go to is something like an event in Detroit or something. I know they did
Yeah.
that once. That was UFC 219, or 218, excuse me. But besides that, they haven't done anything close enough, and so we can't attend until they get bring something close. But I wouldn't mind going to one in Detroit. That wouldn't be a hike at all for me.
No, it wouldn't even be that bad for me a couple of hours. But
Mhm.
yeah, even Bellator. Like, when was the last time Bellator came to Canada?
You know what? It's crazy. So I remember Bellator in their early days. They
Came to
had events
Windsor.
in Windsor. Yeah, like what
Yeah,
we're talking like when they were in the double digits, not in the triple.
yeah. I know that because my boy Kyle Prepelec fought in that card.
Yeah, and I think a local guy from my hometown, Chatham, Chad Laprise, he fought on a card or two in Windsor as well. When he fought on a couple Bellator cards. This was just before he got into in the Ultimate Fight when he won the Ultimate Fighter.
Mhm.
Yeah, he fought I think in Windsor as well. That would have been amazing. But that was early Bellator, and now they're always doing
They-
stuff at the Mohegan Bay and
Yeah,
they're and now
they
they're going
got
to France and all these places.
they're
Like,
all over Europe, Dublin,
yeah,
Ireland, Milan. They have or they're in Russia before obviously shit went down. Um,
Bellator seems to do very well in Europe for whatever reason.
yeah, they have a very big European fan base.
Yeah, but if you have like a guy like Fedor that's fought under
Fedor,
Bellator,
Gegard, they got some
yeah,
good European
they have a lot of
fighters.
European fighters that have held Bellator, or they're the guys that people want to see fight, and they're from that area. Like you stick them on that card and you send them, and you do a card in like Russia. I mean, the Russian fans just go nuts. Prior,
Yeah.
obviously, that's not going to happen maybe ever anymore. But yeah, like it's crazy what Bellator's done in Europe, and I just don't know. Like I know UFC they've done European cards. I know they've done one even. I think when they had Santiago Ponzinibbio, I think they did one in like somewhere in South America. I can't
Was
remember.
it, didn't they had a card in Uruguay and like
Yeah,
Valentina fought Liz Carmouche there?
yeah, I think so. And
Well,
then
that's South America, not Europe though, but
yeah, yeah, I can't remember now.
geography is struggling
UFC
right now,
really
eh?
hasn't done too many overseas. I think that they're still just staying in the States at the moment.
Yeah, it's just hard to deal with all the COVID stuff. I mean, obviously they had UFC London twice, which was electric.
That's right. Yeah, sorry. So I did lie. They have done UFC London, but that's like the exception. They've only done England because you got the Paddy Dimlett thing going on over there and
Hmm.
Tom Aspinall and obviously guy running for the belt next week. Or excuse me, I would say
Leon
this
Edwards.
Saturday. Yeah, Leon Edwards this
It's a
Saturday.
big fight.
That's a big fight.
I'm actually pumped. It's a decent card. It's not like a jaw-dropping pay-per-view, but I mean, we talked about Jose Aldo versus Marab, got Usman and Leon Edwards, which I mean, if Usman wins, what do you think is next? Like he's clear,
Um,
definitely cleared that division. We need a top prospect. I guess Hamza, if he beats Nate Diaz, would have to be next.
Yeah, Hamzat though, like now that you kind of got to see what he's all about, I don't know. I mean, I think he's certainly bigger than Usman, but Usman, man, like I don't have any worry about that kind of fight.
Hmm.
I think Usman could probably take him easily, but Usman also has taken a lot of shots before too.
Yeah, he's gone cracked. Like Gilbert Burns cracked him.
But again, like he still has quite a good chin for that, all things considered.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I completely agree. But yeah, no, I'm gonna be very I mean, it's a rematch, what, like 6, 7 years in the making. Obviously Leon Edwards, he deserves it. Is he the biggest draw? No, but he deserves that title shot.
for
He's on
sure.
a 10 fight unbeaten streak.
He should have got the
Um,
title shot like 2 or 3 fights prior.
easily, like he shouldn't have fought Nate Diaz. That fight literally made no sense.
No, it was just it was something that worked for Nate Diaz, and they, Nate's like, I want to get paid. I want somebody that's
It
gonna
was kind
fight
of like, let's hope Nate wins so then he can be a top three guy in welterweight.
exactly. I mean, how insane would it be to have Nate Diaz fight for the title against Kamaru Usman?
It'd be nuts. It'd be
I think honestly, dude, like I think
that'd
Kamaru
probably
would
sell a
piece him
million
up.
pay-per-views. I bet.
That would piece, yeah. But I think Kamaru would piece him up. But I feel like it'd be
I
one of
feel
those
like you'd
fights
wrestle
where
him. You'd just wrestle him and control him. I bet just land elbows from the top, like stuff like that. But you never know. Nate Diaz might could throw a triangle from the bottom. But
how insane would that be?
imagine just Nate Diaz being a UFC champion. Like
Yeah.
how insane that would be.
I've always envisioned that. I always thought seeing him
Well,
get the
he
belt.
fought for the belt against Benson Henderson,
Yeah.
but
So yeah, with Nate Diaz, yeah. I don't know. With a guy like him, I think it would be pretty insane to see him win the belt.
yeah, I just think he's so done with the UFC. Like he just
Yeah,
wants this fight. So the UFC said, "Fuck you, or we're gonna give you like the toughest fight possible, and we're gonna try to
yeah.
make you. We want you to lead the UFC, hopefully getting dominated. But who knows if Nate Diaz, it'd be typical Nate Diaz fashion to beat Hamzat and get double or give the UFC the double finger on the way out, and probably go box Jake Paul or something. I don't know. I don't know what he wants to do next, but he doesn't want to be involved with the UFC anymore.
Nate just wants to get paid. That's what it is.
I think so. I don't know. Imagine Nate to Bellator. How crazy would that be?
It would not like surprise me, but for Nate Diaz to go to Bellator though, I don't know.
I think he's gonna go the boxing route because boxing you said he wants to get paid. Boxing gets paid. Like
Yeah,
he could go fight someone in a boxing match and go get like 30 mil
he
easily.
could, and he could have one fight, and even if he doesn't win,
Yeah, he'll still make that money.
but if he does fight someone like Jake Paul, I can see a situation where he will beat Jake Paul.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean that's a tough one. I don't know who would win that. To be real with you.
because Nate, he's got insane boxing. And
He
we're and
does, and he has insane
strict
cardio.
boxing though. Like,
He doesn't have like crazy power though, but he has so much volume and so much and such good cardio.
yeah,
I mean, I'd love to see him box. I don't know if I want to see him fight Jake Paul. I think that's the money fight, but I think that would definitely be his plan because like you don't make any money doing jujitsu. We all know he's great at jujitsu.
for sure.
Um,
Stick him on the mat with anybody, he's gonna win 8 out of 10 times.
yeah, 100%. And what else? So yeah, I think he's seeing all this money and all these celebrity boxing matches and shit, and he's thinking, well, the UFC is not paying me enough or what he thinks he's worth, which is a lot. He is a needle mover. He does sell like this Hamzat Nate Diaz pay-per-view. I bet it sells at least 800K pay-per-views at least.
Like, even if it's the only big fight on the card.
That card sucks. I think I said that last podcast. Like, and there's no they got to add another big juicy fight on there. Like, and you know what I mean? Because I'm not buying that pay per view. I'll just wake up the next morning and find the highlights or look at the results.
That's the only thing I hate. That I hate if I miss a card and then I have to read all that because it's like it's not the same excitement, you know.
Yeah,
Watch it.
watching it live is
The
so much
problem is
better.
everything goes on social media. Like, you got these social media people that gotta post shit the moment it happens, and then you get spoiled. And
It
I don't know.
gets clipped immediately, right?
Did
Like,
you were you ever like into the whole did you ever watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi series?
no, I didn't. I watched The Mandalorian, but I got booted off the persons I was using Disney Plus. So
Well, I remember when the first two episodes came out, and I think it came out on a Friday morning, early Friday morning, and I was gonna plan to watch them on the Saturday night with the fiance, and we were gonna we're gonna order some food and blah 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 as my cheat meal, and it was gonna be great. Well, I'm on my way to work. I had to work the Friday evening. I had to work like 11 to 9 shift, and I go home and I come home and I'm look and there's already like shit leaked about like what to expect in the first two episodes that they released right off the bat. And it was like people posting like pictures. I'm like, why do you guys have to post shit the moment it comes out? It's
I know you gotta be
You gotta
careful on
like
social
bypass the
media.
social media. You
Something.
have to have your head down the whole time, not look at anything. If you don't want things spoiled, you have to stay off your phone.
100%. Like if you gotta stay off Twitter, stay off Instagram because it will pop up and it'll bite you in the ass,
I mean,
unfortunately.
there's nothing you can do if you walk in the public and someone that they know that you like MMA and you haven't seen the fight, and someone's like, "Oh, did you hear so and so got beat?" And it's like there's nothing you can do but that. People get excited, people just want to share, but you can have control, not looking at your phone, not looking at your device.
Hmm.
Stay clear of that until you watch the footage.
Yeah, I'll have that happen to me all the time. I'll have a buddy text me like, "Holy shit, did you see that?" And I'll be like, "Ah, no, I missed out. Sorry. Like, what happened?"
Do you ever get that when you have a friend and like you'll be on Snapchat or any kind of social media and you'll be watching the card and out of nowhere there's no like, hey, how's it going, man? Like, it's just all you hear is, oh, did you just see, man, like so and so got knocked down. It's like, oh, hey, how's it going, man?
Yeah, I
Like,
got yeah, I got buddies like that because I know even people I don't talk to all the time, they know
communication
I'm into
guys.
the fights and they'll be like, "Dude, that was absolutely insane." Shit like that. Are you a big boxing guy? Do you watch boxing or are you just strict MMA?
Nah, man.
Dude,
Only
you gotta
boxing
get in
I've
the.
ever watched.
I think I'm only in the boxing because I actually box. Like Teofimo Lopez returned last night. He looked good. I don't know if you know who that is.
No idea, man. I have
Ah
no
man,
idea. Don't You're
different
the one
world, man.
guy that doesn't watch boxing at all, and that's like the only thing I've seen is McGregor and Mayweather, and obviously the Jake Paul
Did I
fights.
ever tell you I met Floyd Mayweather?
Is he really?
I did, yeah. He was at a club in Toronto. I shook his hand. It was probably the most starstruck I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah. How long ago was this?
Uh, 2018, so 4 years ago.
Shit, that's
Yeah, it was
awesome.
cool. It was like, it was like right after. It wasn't too long after the McGregor fight, so like he was still top dog. And yeah, I just said, all right, shook his hand, said congrats on the money title or whatever it was at the time, right? And he said thanks, man. And that was it. I mean, he had an entourage, right? He had all these big bodyguards there around him too. But
Yeah, like
nice enough to shake my hand though. Like who cares? Like I couldn't get a photo or anything. I shook his hand and that's it.
no, was it something where they did like a meet and greet, or was this just
No, it was
by
well,
chance?
it was an event. Like I knew he was gonna be there because
Okay.
I guess there was like some what's it called? There was like some event or boxing fight in Toronto, and like one of his fighters were there. So then the club was it was Floyd Mayweather night at the club.
Yeah.
Like he was only there. I waited all night. All my buddies are chasing girls, and yeah, you know what? I'm usually one that go after the girls in the club and stuff. But I didn't even care. I was like, I gotta see Floyd Mayweather. I was like, I came here for Floyd. I'm gonna see him. Lost all my friends in the club. It was at Rebel in Toronto. It's a massive club, and I got up there, shook his hand, and you know what? That was more than shaking Floyd's hand was better than going home with a chick at that night.
Well, and they always talk. There's always that $1 million question: would you give up? Would you? I know there's a thing where it's like, would you give up food or sex, or would you give up meeting someone for, like an idol, or like getting laid one night? Like there's that
Well,
always.
that was me that night. That was me.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a hard one to give up, but I don't know if like it was like Floyd Mayweather. I would say even Connor. Like I know, like gives everybody mixed feelings about how if you would want to meet him, you don't want to meet him. Yeah, I swear to God, if Conor McGregor just by chance I met him in a bar and there was nothing like he was just there. There was no event. It was just by like luck that he just happened to be there in somewhere like Sarnia, Ontario, and he's at a freaking bar, and I
and
wouldn't be like, no, I'm not gonna shake your hand. I would be like, holy shit, it's fucking Conor, it's
he
Conor
goes up to
McGregor.
you. Imagine he goes up. She's like, "You want some proper 12, mate?"
I tell him this stuff is shit, and he should put it down the drain. He's like, you punch me too. I mean, like, come on.
Oh, just like that old man in Ireland. Apparently, his bar though in Ireland, the Black Forge, is really good.
That's what I hear. Yeah, and it's not even about Connor's stuff tasting like shit. I'm just not a big fan of Irish whiskey, and I've
Yeah,
had it, and I'm not a big fan of it. But I
I'm
know
not a
some
big
people do
whiskey guy
like it.
either. I tried Dana White's Howlerhead. I have a bottle of that at home. It's
Yeah.
actually not bad.
I did buy a bottle. I was gonna bring it down here to kind of like help promote it or just
Decorate.
on the back, yeah, as a decorative, but I threw it into the with my bar and I haven't had it. I can't really drink. I just bought it because I was like, you know what? I was out by the LCBO, so I'm like, I gotta try it. I know that it's out there now. Let me just buy a bottle to say that I have it, and then when I can have a chance to get a drink, I will. So probably way after my show, I'm definitely gonna be sipping down some of the Howlerhead and see what's up.
Yeah, no, I've only done like shots of it, but apparently you can mix it. I see all these guys like these MMA like influencers, I guess, like social media guys. They're all like Howlerhead ambassadors. Like imagine we were one of those. That'd be freaking sick.
Yeah, and I wonder like what the big so you said you had it. Like I heard it's like I have to read the ball again, but it's
It's
like
like
a
a banana bourbon or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Like so how would you describe it? Is it smooth going down?
Yeah, it was smooth. Tasted fine. Like I'm not a big liquor guy. I'm usually if on a night out, I'm just having beers or whatever.
Well,
But I
it's
just had to try it
interesting.
because it's Dana White's, right?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that you say that because you're saying that it went down so smooth. When I went to buy it, it was under the liqueur like so it did it taste very sugar, like did it taste sweet or
I'm trying to recall. I haven't had it in a while. Like
yeah.
last time I drank it was Usman versus Covington 2. I did a shot of it. So it's that was like November. So I mean, uh yeah, I just remember it tasting good. I just tried it. I was like, I gotta try this because it's Dana White's. Went down smooth, didn't burn really that bad. Has that banana aftertaste, which tasted great too. Like I'm not a big whiskey or bourbon, whatever it is, guy, but like I'd recommend it to anyone, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and if that's the case, yeah, like the thing is when it comes to alcohol, I just don't get how people can drink the driest and the most plain like I just don't understand how people can drink like such high alcohol content and just drink it straight and say, that tastes good. I'm like, how are you not? How is your throat not burning?
Yeah.
Uh,
No, that's gross. Oh, sorry to go back to Howlerhead. Actually, I posted when I bought it. I bought it on the
yeah.
Shout out to my boy Ty. You know my guy Ty.
Oh yeah.
He bought it for me. He got it on the day it was released in Ontario,
Mhm.
dropped it off, and I remember I posted a story on our old podcast Instagram account, and Dana White actually DM'd us, and he sent us like that emoji, like the rock on or whatever, like this one.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so I have Dana White in my DMs.
That's pretty sweet. So did you just tag Hellerhead in it or like
Yeah, I tagged Tylerhead, I tagged Dana. Tylerhead reposted it, and Dana just sent us a DM, and then I just said, "Thanks, Dana. Can't wait till you guys are back in Toronto or UFC's back in Toronto." And he liked it afterwards.
oh shit? So yeah, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah. Well,
I know he's thinking
sorry,
about
boy.
it, and I know
How'd you get
Dana
to go
loves
see in
Toronto.
Canada?
He loves Toronto. He just knows the whole bullshit
It's
about it.
just they can't come to Canada, and that's what's eating me, man. It's like I honestly like. So right now, as you know, I'm on a contest prep, right?
How many weeks out are you? Like 11 now?
11 technically.
What do you? How much do you have to wait? Do you have to weigh a certain amount going into that day?
I know I cut water weight, so I'm not sure if there's gonna be any weight classes for UFE. I know they're like they go according by your height for sure. Um,
And where is this taking place?
this is actually in Hamilton, so
Oh
yeah,
shit,
like
maybe I'll pull up.
yeah, you just have to make a little trippy poo and come on over and support, man.
Yeah, and then just get shit canned afterwards.
I can't drink. That's the problem. So when I said I was gonna drink after the show, I will, but not like right after. Like I think would have to like give it a couple weeks for my
Yeah.
reverse to be working through, and then maybe have a night where I have a couple drinks and I won't be as bad. But I couldn't do that right after because man, your body goes through all the stress and but I'm definitely gonna be eating some food. That's
Mhm.
for sure. So. I'm excited. I'm really excited. But yeah, no. So I think with the way kind of as far as I know, as what I have been told, because every bodybuilding show is different. So with mine, I know they're going according to height. That's what they had mentioned to me. But so like I'm doing the open bodybuilder. There's
Yeah.
obviously they have a novice open, and then it goes pro or it goes like I can't remember exactly, but so the novice is like everyone is brand new, spanking brand new. Open is like anybody. You just can't be a pro, I think.
Mhm.
So I'm in the open, based upon the fact that there's probably not going to be a whole lot of guys competing, so you get a little bit more competition. But yeah, so I know it might have been the day before or the day of. I started cutting some water weight, and it just helps with the I think it just helps with the muscle. So that's why the guys look how they do on stage. And then obviously you're taking like other stuff to help the muscles pop more. And
Yeah.
no, I'm not going to reveal everything because it is instructions. But anyway, there's a bit of a process of how everything works in that stuff. But man, I'm even jealous watching you eat, drinking the apple juice, man.
Oh, it tastes great. I'm
I bet
sorry.
it does. I bet it fucking does. I had a
What do
little bit of
you?
black coffee here, so I
I was
could
gonna say, like, what's your diet like right now? Like, are you just starving
Uh,
yourself?
just a lot of a lot of high protein. Obviously some carbs are cut.
And
A lot
wait,
of vegetables, a
would
lot
you
of
do it
green
again?
vegetables.
Do you think, or is that a question you want to wait until you like the day of? Like, would you consider competing again, or is this just like a one time thing? You just want to challenge yourself
Um, you got me on camera here. Right now I'm just focusing
in the
on
moment?
the on everything because again, like I don't even want to be thinking that because as soon as you say, well, this might be my only show or well, I don't know, we'll see how I do, then maybe I'll move on. No, I don't really want to think about any of that right now because right now I'm 11 weeks out. My mind says just make sure you
Make
do
it.
what coach tells you to do and just keep pushing through and that's the main thing, right, is
Yeah.
just focusing on doing what I gotta do and then go from there.
What's the date of that 11 weeks? Like, dude,
So there'll
you should
be
pull up to my boy Jake's fight. I don't know how far Hamilton's from you, but I'm going there on the 27th
of
August.
oh no, my show's not until October 29th because
Oh,
I still
that's
have
a
11 weeks
long
out.
way.
Yeah, so October 29th, yes. um
Holy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because like I thought about it. So I was talking with somebody and they're like, "Can you realize you have 11 weeks?" I'm like, "Yeah, like it's still a long week away. Like it's still a long ways away, but like 11, like just think like you get to like 8 and then you get to like 6 and then you get to like 4 and that's where you get into holy shit mode and like
Mhm.
geez, you're getting so close and making sure everything's perfect, your poses are good, your diet's good, your body looks great, like there's so many things, right?
No,
Um,
mad respect because, like I said, I've been in the fitness industry 6, 7 years.
yeah.
Wouldn't even consider
I
doing
mean, like I
bodybuilding.
definitely I'm cutting down, but as you can see, I still got a little bit to go, and it's definitely it's not an easy sport, but
No, it's very very tough.
yeah.
But I mean, shout out to all the warriors that do that because it's no easy go. And
Speaking about
I
bodybuilding, I don't mean to interrupt you, but speaking of bodybuilding, I know a couple of UFC fighters I think have done. I think some of the ladies have done something like that. I think Tisha Torres, she did some show and she went in serious, like she was already in pretty good shape. Most MMA fighters are in good shape. She was in insane shape, like for
she's
for show.
ripped.
Yeah, she
I
was
could see that. Did she? I think I
she's
remember hearing about that. That she
yeah.
in between like fights or something, she just did a bodybuilding comp.
That's like mad respect because that even takes. I mean, I think it probably would have been easier for her because she's always been in good shape. But that definitely just right there, that's like mad respect
Yeah.
because that's really hard. I mean, like even at her, she still would have had to prep herself, getting closer and closer to the show, and then trying to because that's even harder on your body. I mean, like I know fighters do their weight cuts and stuff like that, but even doing bodybuilding show because she's just trying to get in the best shape of her life physically and not even worrying about the fight. Because most
Hmm.
fights, I mean, like the guy when I'm saying in good shape, but like get some of these fighters and they're obviously not all of them are going to be, you don't have to. There's a difference between I think doing show, having a show body and having a body for fighting because you still have to worry about your cardio and everything else that comes with it. So yeah, that's nuts. When I saw her do that, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, dude,
And
that's
Teacher Torres is probably one of the best. I would say she's in one of the best shape I've ever seen any female fighter in.
no, she's very disciplined when it comes to being in shape. She always when she comes in the fight week, like she looks incredible. Not
Oh
just even
yeah,
looks department, but like just like body, like her body, like she is
yeah.
shredded.
And the thing is too, like she's a not a huge one, like she's not a huge girl, like she's but still like just for the fact, yeah, like she's just shredded.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Now, I actually another lady I was gonna mention. So we were talking about the fights last night. I saw that oh geez, Lupe Goodness. I don't know if you've been following her.
I know her. She got slept last night.
Yeah, I
Oh
heard
no,
that
wait,
she
not
did.
Loopy. No, 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 never mind. That was wait. I'm thinking of remember that Priscilla girl that Valentina beat down?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
What's
saw
her
that.
uh
I didn't see the fight,
she
but I saw like the result
yeah,
though.
I'm drawing a blank, but she was fighting this girl called like the Queen
Darian
of
Lipsky, I
Violence.
think.
Yeah, Lipsky. That's why I just got
Yeah.
I got her confused with Loopy Godes because she fought Angela Hill last night.
Yeah, and she lost.
Yeah, she's Canadian and Mexican descent.
Yeah, she's a Mexican Canadian. Yeah, yeah. Like, and it sucks because she looked like she's a good prospect herself.
I
Like,
know you can't be losing to Angela Hill. I mean, I respect Angela Hill, but she's pretty well got a 50-50 record. She's kind of like the gatekeeper in that women's strawweight. Like if you beat
mhm,
her, then it's like okay, like you can kind of hang out with the big girls. But
yeah.
yeah, that's a tough one. But I feel like she'll get back, honestly.
Oh yeah, no. Like she's elite. I think just sometimes you have to have a couple of rocks in the road before you can get to where you need to go. But yeah, no. Like even a girl like her, like she's just like I think the way her drive to fight. Like, she's like, I'll fight next week. Like she.
Oh, you gotta wait, both of them, Angela Hill and
Oh, and
Lupke.
both of them. Yeah, no, Angela Hill, like
Like,
she
like
half her like I think her six last fights were like all like short notice. I'll fight,
this last
like
fight, she took on 1 week or something. Like,
yeah, yeah, no.
no, mad respect. I know I just kind of sound like almost like trashed her a bit, but she
God
just
damn it, Chris.
she she comes to fight and she doesn't give a shit. She's
Yeah.
literally like the woman's version of the BMF. Like she just shows up whenever. Yeah, I'll fight whoever. Like she's fought the who's who in the women's strawweight division.
But yeah, like with her, I haven't heard a whole lot with her. So
But good win for her. You never know when it comes to the judges' scorecard, but it was deserved. And then yeah, Lupi Gomez or Gomez, you
goodness, yeah, I think that's
goodness, sorry, I'm absolutely terrible with names today.
every time I reach out to her and we ever do an interview, like I'm trying to make sure I'm like, okay, gotta get her name right, get her name right.
Yeah, can't no worse way to start an interview than like mispronouncing someone's name.
It's like when remember they couldn't say Francis Ngannou, the UFC commentators, they're like,
They thought it was like Gnu at first.
Gnu, yeah. Yeah, it was like Gnu or Gano or something like that.
Yeah,
They
and then Joe
Francis, they
just
could get Francis right, and most people can get Francis right.
yeah, Joe
Whereas
just
like
said, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna call him
Ngannou, I think
Francis."
they're calling him Ngannou or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Yeah, but I don't know how much time we have left going on. I feel like we've had a pretty good conversation today. But before we go out, I just want to plug I just did an interview on my Instagram, CR Sports Media, with Josh the Boss Wagner. He's 12-0, 6 knockouts. Local guy from where I'm from. And I did an interview with him and I'm pumped for him. He's fighting September 9th in Brampton. I know you said you're not a big boxing guy, but I love supporting local fighters and even not even just local fighters. They're now my friends. So um, check out that interview if you're listening to this right now. There's two parts because I made a clip. Some guy actually interrupted our interview mid interview. Just pulled. Did you see that?
that's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah, so he pulled up and the girl that was recording for me, it kind of sucks because she stopped recording. I wish she kept going because it would have been even funnier of a clip. But yeah, this guy didn't know we were doing an interview and he just ran in there and he goes up to Josh as a joke. He's like, "Can I get any shots on you, buddy?" Like just like fake punches. And Josh was like, "Yo, bro, like we're just doing an interview." And he's like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry." And he just left.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. That's what happened. So when I did the BTC live a few months ago, yeah, so same kind of premise. Like I was doing it might have been the one interview I was doing with uh his name is Vinny Diaz.
Yeah, he I know him. He trains actually I he does trains at a gym right near my apartment, like 10 minutes
Yeah.
actually.
Well, he's in the triangle.
Rival Grant. He trains there.
Yeah.
And I want to start training there soon. So maybe if I see him, I'll have to get an interview with him or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, when I did the one with Vinny, yeah, there was like obviously because everything's all edited, but yeah, so when I did the thing with Vinny, like yeah, I had people in the hallway, they're just drunk, right? And you get some like drunk, obnoxious people, and they're like I had one guy that tried to touch my camera,
Yeah, I remember you telling me
Vinny was
this
getting
story
himself
before.
ready to go when we were gonna shoot, and this guy's like touching the camera. I said, "Fuck, dude, stop fucking touching my camera." He's like, and then he like run his mouth, and it was like. And that's the thing that you just have to kind of understand is like, yeah, you want to do your media with fighters, but I'm sure fighters, it happens with fighters too. But luckily, we weren't actually shooting yet. But I did have I had the camera on record, and then like I think I had another girl. She's like, "I'll be your camera woman" or something like that,
Hmm.
and she's like touching the camera and moving it. It actually kind of helped out because I had someone, and maybe kind of acted because I was all by myself, as you know,
Hmm.
and
And you can't do that, man. It's hard.
yeah. And she was like touching the camera and she's like, "Oh, I'll be your camera woman." And one of the other guys that I had interviewing, he's just like laughing and we can't even get the interview going because like just fuck people just touching stuff. But yeah, man, we're I think we're coming up on time here. So this was awesome, man. Guys, if you still haven't, go check out our YouTube page, Empire Universe Media. Again, all these podcasts will be going under its own like folder on Empire Universe Media on YouTube, and will still keep everything under Empire Universe Media on Instagram. So, guys, be sure to check that out, and again, be able to go out and check Chris's latest interview, and we'll see you guys next time, man.
Take care, everyone.